What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Now, today on the table in front of us, we have a new knife to the channel, but not a new knife. This is the Kizer Kane. This is a Matt Degnan design. He also designed the Kizer Roach. Now, I have avoided this. I don't know why, honestly, for a long time. I think it's because I had their the Vanguard version, which was in VG10, and well, look, that was not a very good knife. The handle was blocky and uncomfortable. I just didn't enjoy it, and so I didn't review it, and I didn't lean into this. Well, recently at a gun show out here in California, a friend of mine had this on his table, and I picked it up and immediately fell in love with it. This is a beast of a knife, and it is just fantastic. Really excited to have it on the channel and in my collection. Let's get some specs just so we know what we're doing here. The knife itself, as you can see, we'll do this here, is 9 1/4 inches long. The blade on this thing, which is just fantastic. What are we looking at here? We are looking at 3.5 inches of cutting on 4 inches of S35 VN. The grip length from the back of the flipper there is 4 1/4 to this swell and almost 5 to the tail. It is a long-handled knife, and I really like that. It allows you to grip this thing in so many different ways. It has this great choil up front, so you can come right up on the blade. It is hollow ground, and these are still available. Now, they're about $235. That is a fair amount of money, but you get so much knife, and you get Kizer doing what they do best. The blade has a light stonewash. The action on this thing is ridiculous. Now, this one is not new, but it was, well, it's new old stock. It had the sticker on it still from Kizer. There are a couple of things that I am not 100% in love with. One of them, of course, being the pocket clip placement. As you can see, it's not terribly deep carry. But when the knife is this long, and I'll tell you what, the closed length on this thing, you know, from end to end here, I mean, we're looking at 5.5 inches. Even guys' pockets tend not to be, 6 inches, or maybe they're right around 6 inches deep. Having this knife stand a little proud in the pocket means that it fits into the pocket very well. Now, it does have a very noticeable, with all due respect to another reviewer, pocket pecker of a flipper tab here. But the result of that big flipper tab is just fantastic action. I love this knife. I really do. And, I love big knives. And what that got me thinking is, what if you really like the XM24, for instance. A lot of handle, good blade, functional, kind of hard use and design, but you don't want to spend $595, and who would? This is an excellent alternative. I love big knives. You may not. On some people's hands, there would be inches of handle sticking out, but in my good-sized hand, right up here, there's just enough back here to add a real sense of adjustability and security. And when I come up on the choil, the balance on this thing is excellent. This is such a good worker. They're still available on Blade HQ, even though this is a much older model. And I think that if you're looking for a big chunk of knife, something that you will feel you can rely on with a nice hollow grind, so it comes to a decent slicey edge, it's not a razor blade, but it's a cutter that has great ergonomics for use, that also looks really nice. The Kizer Kane in full tie might be a knife for you. I didn't think it was going to be a knife for me because of the Kizer Kane Vanguard series that I had. I was really put off by that. That is not a good knife. I don't even have one to show you anymore because I got rid of it. But this thing is a completely different animal and really worth your time and attention, I think. Let's do some size comparisons here, just so we know sort of what we are looking at. Let's use our new small knife comparison tool, just for fun. Here it is up against the bug out, and as you can see, the Kane is much bigger than that. Let's get that out of here for now. Let's go back and use our old friend, the Rat Model 1, as a large knife comparison. And again, this is a big knife. It blows the Rat Model 1 completely out of the water. I mean, it really does. For those of you that have a full-size Griptilian, I'm going to reach across the table for a minute. Sorry about that, guys. Here is the Ritter Hogue, or as a stand-in for the full-size Griptilian. And as you can see, the Kizer Kane is a monster knife. Now, that is my thing. I love that in a knife, particularly when it is a monster knife that is made for a very effective carry. And what I mean by that is the basic dimensions of this knife lend itself to a really nice, comfortable carry. It's not particularly wide this way, and it is very thin through the handle. Let's take a look at how thin. If we go to the thickest part of the handle, we are at just over 1/2 inch, which is completely reasonable. Let's take a look at the blade stock here. Now, the blade stock is very thick, 4.5 millimeters of S35 VN, and Kizer does such a good job with their S35 VN. Somebody recently asked me to do behind the edge. You know, I'm really not that stable of hand. We're going to go ahead and give that a shot and see if we can do it. 0.23 behind the edge, which is very nice. Actually, it's got a nice edge on it for sure. I love when stuff like this happens. I have sort of assumptions about a knife, predetermined thinking, and then I get the thing in my hand and all of that goes out the window. I mean, let's look at this titanium. Everything is knocked down and tumbled. There are no hard edges anywhere on this thing. It is smooth and comfortable in hand. The pocket clip, which is titanium but is stamped, which is shaped this way, so it's not fancy, allows for really good access in and out of pants pockets. This thing, well, Matt Degnan clearly had a user's eye when he built this knife. The handle has shaping in it, but not in such a way that interferes with really comfortable grip. It is remarkable. That this flew as far under the radar as it did speaks to me more about how many amazing knives have come out in the last few years. Because if this had come out in let's say in 17 or 18 with a lot fewer knives, I think this thing would have absolutely kicked ass in the large knife market. I really do. The blue anode hardware on this thing is gorgeous. It has, of course, a hardened lock bar insert. It is a frame lock, as you can see. It has that excellent Kizer sort of straightforward plain titanium that has been tumbled and media blasted. This one, because it is not brand new, does have some snail trails and some scratches on it. I don't care. I'm going to keep this thing for a very, very long time in my collection because I just love it. Now, there is a part of me that, I've got a very powerful blade length to handle length aesthetic that I enjoy in my knives. And this doesn't really follow that because of the choil. There's a relatively compact working blade and a whole lot of grip. But I think it's because I've had knives like the XM24 that I have come to appreciate and really understand how that matters, particularly for the use that we do. Now, because this is S35 VN, this thing is useful for everything from everyday tasks all the way up into the kitchen. And because of this beautiful belly, this nice flat, and because it's hollow ground, it will work in almost any area that you need it to. The handle is large enough to allow, like I said, a lot of really good versatile grips. The blade is shaped in such a way that you can use this knife for just about any task. I love this almost harpoon. It allows you to place your thumb for forward push cuts. The Kizer Roach is one of my all-time favorite knives. Degnan designs knives that are aesthetically pleasing and built for use in many, many ways. The Kizer Roach is one such example. The full-size Kizer Titanium Cane is another. This is a fabulous pocket knife. Now, if this is too big for you, the full-size grip, or in this case, Thuder Hogue, then this is going to be way beyond anything you want to carry. But if you like big knives, check out the Kizer Kane. I think you'll enjoy it. I know that I do, and I was completely surprised by that. And again, I love that. I love when something shocks me, and this did. I guess that's where we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching today. This has been the Kizer Kane, designed by Matt Degnan. I have been a Therapeutic Edge. You have been my amazing audience. Please like the video on your way out. It does help the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I'd love to have you here on a regular basis. We'll see you next time.